good morning everyone. We hope na nakapag-breakfast na ang lahat. Ayan. So, ladies and gentlemen, our event will start in about a minute po. So, please settle down. I-relax niyo po ang inyong mga sarili. And as we begin shortly, gusto ko po magbigay sa inyo ng short reminders about today's event. So, during the whole program, I would like to seek for everyone's cooperation to give their full attention and best interest. Please be reminded to turn on your webcam as well as disabling your speaker during the whole program. Should there be any questions, please write it down in the chat box. Thank you for your kind cooperation and attention. So, ayan, good morning guys. Kamusta naman ang inyong umaga? Ayan. Kamusta naman ang inyong Sabado? Magtatawag po tayo ng participant. Mangangamusta po tayo for today. Ayan. So, pero bago po ang lahat, good morning po ulit. Ako po ang isa sa inyong host for today. I am Jana Reyes Masako. Together with my co-host, ayan, hello partner. Wala tang partner ko. Ayan, so hanggang dito tayo ay iniiwan na po. Ayun po. So, tawagan po muna natin si may control number na 0219. Hello po kay Miss Christine Matienzo. Hello po.
Hi, good morning everybody.
Good morning
Thank you for
po.
joining. So the rest of the participants, we're very much looking forward into learning a lot today.
Thank you so much po ma'am for registering po. We hope na inyo pong makuha din yung aming pong aim for today. Ayan. Hello partner, nadyan ka na ba? Partner. Ayun, naghang lang daw po siya. Ayan, so, good morning po ulit. Ako na po magpapakilala sa partner ko. She is Angelica Miancheta po. Ayan, naglalag lang po. Ayan. And on behalf of our team po, we would like to welcome all of you to our pre-program event that will introduce our new program. But before anything else, may I ask everyone to bow your heads for opening prayer that will be followed by the singing of the national anthem po. Ayan. Ano po? Good morning po sa lahat. Hello everyone. Sorry po, we are having technical difficulties po, but rest assured that we are solving it right now. Thank you. Ayan, good morning po ulit sa lahat. Ayan, nag-isa na lang po ako ngayon dahil lang akong partner ay nagkakaroon po ng technical difficulties po. Ayan, so hindi na po natin papakahabaan to. To kick off this morning's program, let us introduce our speaker. He has been in the learning and development and lifelong learning advocacy and practice for about 11 years already, and has mentored about 20,000 students, professionals, and entrepreneurs in areas of continuous improvement, innovation, analytics, entrepreneurship, and industrial engineering. He has proven his skills relating to business administration, people management, research, statistical analysis, workshop facilitation, and consulting. We are pleased to introduce our very own Dr. Felix D. Beroya. Hello po, Sir Felix.
Hi, good morning everyone.
Good morning, sir. Hello po.
Sige, so let me share my screen. Thank you, Jana, for that kind introduction. And hopefully, ayan. All right. Okay, so again, good morning everyone to the 50 plus participants. So we're expecting a little bit more based on the registration, but of course, we'll still proceed with this number. If you have friends and colleagues or peers that are not yet in the session or not yet in the room, we are highly encouraging you to invite them papunta dito sa session na to, because this will give you at least an idea of how can we really be more relevant to this 21st century workplace. Again, my name is Felix Concepcion Beroya. Nakalimutan yung name, no? Felix Concepcion Beroya, the founder and CEO of Aslike Speech Academy, and one of the brainchild of this particular program called ALAB. So today, you are being part of the history as we unfold it to the public and as you are joining this particular kickoff event. Of course, we want to give you not only ano ba yung ALAB, but just, of course, to give you an idea of how can you be ready. Because I'm posing this question here, are you ready for the 21st century workplace? Because of all the things that happened so far, the pandemic, a lot of uncertainties that are happening not only here in the Philippines, around the globe, are we really ready for the new setup of the workplace for the 21st century workplace? So that's actually one of the questions that is being asked most of the time whenever you go to conferences, to forums, or fora rather, and other learning events. Okay, so ngayong umaga, I'll walk you through paano ba natin malalaman if we're really ready for the 21st century workplace. Okay, so and kung ready na kayong makinig, can you type in the number 9 yan, sa chat box natin? Yan. Just for me to gauge whether I still have active participants here. And sige, habang sineset up ko yung isang part ng aking talk, ayan. So I'm waiting for participants. I'm only seeing half of the participants. Ayan, good. Sige po, maraming salamat for your Ayan, maraming salamat for your participation. Now, let's move. Okay. So, ang topic natin ngayon, of course, is all about how to become a #significantly better professional in the 21st century workplace. So, the content of the material that I will share to you is an integration of what I have learned so far as a leader, not only in business context, in engineering context, as a young leader. When you say young leader, a young person is classified to be a person that has in the range, or that is in the range rather, of 18 to 35 years old. Okay, so when you say young leader, of course, this is the section of leaders na nandoon sa tinatawag natin na continuity plan of leadership. So when we talk about the context of, let's say, corporate, ito yung mga binibuild ng corporate or ng mga companies na maging next generation leaders. So kung meron kayong nakikitang CEO, may nakikita kayong CFO, may nakikita kayong CXO, meaning ng CXO, any key positions or top management position in the corporate setup. So yung mga yon, typically the organizations, they have this continuity plan, okay, na para alam nila makapag-develop sila ng talents. So in the context of student leadership, meron din. In the context of course, NGO, meron din. So basically, leadership is really one of the key and one of the critical and essential na skill set that we have to build, especially in the 21st century workplace. So the materials that I prepared today is a curation and integration of what I have learned so far as an actual leader, and of course, best practices coming from different internationally published resources. Okay. Now, I have here a simple game. Okay, if you would want to join, you are very free to join. Simple lang yung instructions natin. All you have to do is to take a photo of you. Okay, take a photo of you watching and participating at this particular session. Okay, share that photo, tag our page. You can do it LinkedIn and Facebook. No, so you can share that photo. Tag our page as Lex Page Academy. Of course, don't forget to like, no, and subscribe, and use the hashtag ALAB 2022. Yan. So that we can trace, and we will be giving away, we will choose 10 winners of 100 pesos GCash or PayMaya or Maya credits and access to our the new normal toolbox e-learning course worth 500 pesos. Okay? So para hindi nyo makalimutan yung instructions, feel free to take a screenshot and then you can join anytime, and within the day we will announce the winners. Okay? So hope you enjoy while you are learning, no? All right, so what's in it for you this morning? Of course, I'll be giving you this particular model that I've been using for quite some time, the ABC of becoming a hashtag significantly better modern professional. We'll talk more about what are the requirements of the 21st century workplace. And of course, how can we close the gap? Okay? And what are my reflections so far? Okay? Yan. So yan yung ating pag-uusapan for this particular session. Okay? So this is basically the model. The model stands as ABC. First, of course, you have to assess. Bibinata, sorry Lexa. And so if you might notice, no, for those people who've been around the Aslex Page Academy community, medyo malat po ako, no? I've been sick for about a week, but because I love to share, of course, what I have learned by far, I made sure na kailangan matuloy ito, no, today. Anyways, so assess. First step natin is to assess. You have to assess, and this is where what we call gap analysis will come into the picture. If these are the requirements of today's workplace, nasaan ako dyan in terms of my overall preparedness and relevance? Okay? And then, if I've identified gaps, what do I do next? I build the competency. If I have the competency, I would want to improve on that. I want to close the gap. Okay? Build. And once I have reached the minimum proficiency required for such skills, what happens next? I continue doing A-B. So that's why it's called A, B, and C. It's like a 3 major steps of how you can become continuously, on the continuous manner, a hashtag significantly better professional. Again, this is where you will put it in a mere context of ang kalaban ko in such particular race is never a fellow or a peer or a colleague, but rather myself, to continuously be relevant, di ba? So that's ABC: assess, build, and continue. All right. So let's start with the first phase, assess. Okay? If you're ready to know how to assess, can you type in assess in the chat box? And so you'll be engaging, assess. Ayan. You have to embrace the steps so that you know how to apply it in on your own perspective, no? For your own professional development. Okay? All right, I'm seeing half of the participants responding. So sige, let's continue. Okay, so for us to assess, I'll be sharing this particular slido.com mini poll. So let me try to go to that particular link. So all you have to do is to move to slido.com. You have to open your browser and then go to slido.com. Make sure that you will okay, I have activated it. Make sure that you have key in the number 2965870 and try to answer this simple question here. How ready are you for the 21st century workplace relative to your skill set? 1 being the lowest or least prepared, and 5 being the most prepared. Diba? And I think there's some sort of definition, no? Kung ano yung mga scores represents, no? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're gonna wait for maybe about at least 50% of the participants, no, to answer this particular poll here so that we know moving forward how we can put more context on the thoughts that I would share. So you're seeing dynamically yan kung ano yung score natin. It's an average of 3.4 as against to target of 5. So we're having about around a 2-unit gap. So there are people who are, most of the people who've answered, of course, is at rank 3 or score of 3, 45% or almost half. And some are very equipped already. 6% of you have answered 5. So, ayan. And then we have 30% of people answering, or about 30 answering a score of 4, and there are also 15% who have answered a score of 2. Okay. All right, so let's maybe wait for at least 50 participants so that we have like a good sample size here. Okay, we're just waiting for 11 more participants. Come on, let's hit the 50. Okay, 10 more, and we're about to move to the next slide. Okay. So with the rate of response, I think we can still proceed for the benefit of time being. So as it stands, it's about 3.3 as against 5. So we're looking at a 1.7 gap with the extremes of 13% for the score of 2 and 8% for a score of 5. Thank you everyone for participating in that very short poll. So if you've seen most of the participants or about half of the participants states that there are gaps that they have identified as against to what is required by this 21st century workplace relative to their skill set. Of course, if you've seen, of course, the numbers, it's about 3.3 as against 5. Definitely there is a gap. So that particular gap is why we need to continuously equip ourselves with relevant lifelong learning methods or pedagogies as educators will have to call it. So these are channels on how you would learn or acquire learning, best practices, do's and don'ts, on how on those particular skill sets. You might be thinking about what are really the requirements for the 21st century workplace. So we have very specific uh, what do you call this, skills that I would want to share with you later on. But first, I want you to recognize that there are gaps that we need to fill in. Okay, so let me walk you through with my journey for the last 11 years. I'm trying to put this slide here just to build, as the next phase, just to build some confidence that whatever you will hear from me is a product of things that I have experienced myself, and hopefully would make sense as you are building your portfolio and career as a leader. Okay. Well, I started my career way back 2011. I started working for Batangas State University as a lecturer. And this is after 2 months of applying for jobs. Basically, I graduated as the first cum laude of Batangas State University Industrial Engineering program. But unfortunately, to my surprise, companies tend not to hire me. Okay, so that was like about 2 months of applying and submitting CVs and resumes to different organizations. And it's quite a frustrating scenario during that time, because I expect that I would get and land a job quickly compared to others, being a younger me, and given the credentials. But I have to reassess myself whether are there things that I have um to change. Probably I had that assessment way back then. So it was BSU who gave me the opportunity. So I started working as a lecturer. And fortunately, after a week, I was given an offer by San Miguel, but I completed still my contract with the first organization who trusted me, and that was BSU. It was after my first term of teaching, I jumped to San Miguel Beer to take on a logistics role. So 2012, I have taken the exam, our exam for IEs. And then 2013, I started the business, a review center, and then I got promoted as a logistics coordinator. So during the stint of 2012 to 2013, I am being trained already to become a leader. And when I assumed the position logistics coordinator, I am in charge of a whole province, and that is Batangas province. I have to ensure that the beer operations, logistics, and supply chain wise is running smoothly for the whole province. And immediate parts of Cavite and some parts of Mindoro. So 2014, after 3 years of serving San Miguel, I basically decided to do full-time consulting. So I wanted to become a consultant when I was younger. A young professional dream. I wanted to be a consultant. I tried. I jumped out of my faith with about after praying, after telling myself that I can do it already. So I jumped outside San Miguel. My parents were very skeptical about it. Of course, I'm very young during that time. I'm just 23 or 24. So, but I then realized that it's not pretty good move. So what I did was went back to corporate. And this was the time that I gained more experience about things, about my craft. So I started also writing books during the time. And this is basically the year where I got sick. I was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism. I was then subjected to medications and radioactive iodine therapy. And it was cured. And then I became a hypothyroid person. So during the time that I'm resting, well, basically I could not say that I'm resting because I managed to write my first book, which was published internationally. And then during after that, I 2016 we started Aslike Speech Academy. I got promoted and became one of the youngest managers of Western Digital, the one that produces the hard drives. And 2017, I continued to I became a black belt for Lean Six Sigma. It's a methodology that we used for problem solving and process improvement. I decided to join UP National Engineering Center's Master Black Belt program to upgrade myself. And well, I'm taking many trainings in between, physical, e-learning. I started doing e-learning 2010, as early as 2010, when I'm one of the early adopters of e-learning here in the Philippines, I would say. So 2018, I published another book, and I became immersed with um helping organizations to launch local chapters here in the Philippines. We have the IAOIP, the International Association of Innovation Professionals, and the Association for Manufacturing Excellence. And I became a professional industrial engineer year 2019, and then 2019 was the time that I jumped outside WD. Okay, so I have this 3 years, every 3 years, each of jumping outside corporate setup. So I went full time for Aslak Speech Academy. During the pandemic, we've done a lot of things. I've managed to write my third book. We started Alpha Digital, the one that offers free courses. Okay. I became 2020, I was recognized by Asia CEO Awards as Young Leader of the Year, Grand Winner, and Entrepreneur of the Year, Circle of Excellence Awardee. We started Pinoy IEs, an online community for industrial engineers. And 2021, I've been involved with startups, became one of the startup founder of the year for the Philippines, and gained recognitions and awards from local and international award-giving bodies in the field of engineering, entrepreneurship, leadership. Okay, and 2022 is a lot busier year because we're about to launch many things for our lifelong learning community here in the Philippines. So what I'm trying to showcase here is not my achievements, but what the ABC model have taught me. Whenever, just to give you an idea, whenever I've seen in like, for example, in webinars like this, or during the time that we are free to join physical conferences or face-to-face conferences, whenever I hear a new term, like say for example, when I first heard data science, what I did was to, and this is basically my personal practice, it's either I put it on the conference paper or notes, and then later on I'll search that. Or whenever I heard a new term, I go to my phone, I open the browser and try to check it, because usually in conferences they will not tell you the fundamentals. It's more of the application. And so for me to appreciate it, I'll go to my phone and search it. And whenever I see that these are things that are aligned to the future of the workplace, or skill set that are needed in the workplace, for example, data science and design sprint or design thinking, I'll try to learn it. I'll try to learn it. I'll try to apply it, and I'll try to share it. So that's basically how I build my competency throughout the years. Okay. So that's what I'm trying to point out here. Now, talking about build. So if you know that there's a gap, if you assess yourself that, hey, there's a gap in the skill set that is being required by the company that I would want to apply for, or the position that I'm eyeing for, okay, or maybe a role in an organization, or in a community that I want to take on. So next thing that you would want to do is to build. Okay. Now, you might be wondering, what are the skills that are required in the 21st century workplace? I take into account this particular, sorry, this is not what productivity, this is what are the skills. Um, what are the skill requirements really? So I've subscribed into the list that is being published by the World Economic Forum from time to time. And these are the top 10 skills of 2025. If you can see here, there are like legends, like the blue one the blue ones are related to problem solving. The green ones are related to self-management. The gold ones or yellow ones are those are dealing with working with people, and the purple one is for technology use and development. So I've tried to zoom in so that you can see it better. So these are, so from analytical thinking and innovation to active learning and learning strategies, all the way to reasoning, problem solving, and ideation. These are the skills that you would want to build to become relevant to the 21st century workplace. Now, I have here my own list, and this is again an integration of what has been published by the World Economic Forum and other credible sources, internationally published credible sources, and my experience. I want to share with you this top five skills that you might want to build. Okay, so first, complex problem solving. Second, critical thinking. Third, creativity. Fourth, collaboration. And last but not the least, of course, is communication. So let's try to dig into one by one. Okay, let's start with complex problem solving. Of course, let's first define what is complex problem solving. It's the ability to apply structured approaches to solve problems and achieve set objectives. You might be here today, and at least in your life, you have encountered some of the structured approaches that are being shown in this particular slide. When we were younger, I think that was mere first year or second year high school, we were taught of the scientific the steps of scientific problem solving. So that's one example of a structured approach. So why do we need a structured approach when we try to cover complex problem solving? As a leader, okay, as a leader, you will always be faced with problems. Problems are, they're pretty much a critical component of any organization. Without problems, leaders will not grow. Okay, so as a leader, you have to understand that you have to be equipped with at least one problem solving approach. We're talking about, if you're familiar with Lean Six Sigma, we're talking about the DMAIC approach: define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. If you're talking about a general problem solving approach that is related still to operational excellence, you could go and subscribe to the PDCA, or Plan, Do, Check, Act. If you're more of a creative person, you might have heard the design thinking process. So it's a process that is applied to creative problems. If you're into startups, you know that this is one of the many approaches that is used to solve creative problems. So it's basically composed of 5 steps also: empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. Well, generally speaking, we also have the Kepner-Trego. If you see here, it's broken down into the situational appraisal is broken down into problem analysis, and then followed by decision analysis and potential problem analysis with the things that you've already decided upon. We also have a more technical approach that is called the trees. Trees, it's a German word, which when we try to convert it in English, it will sound as TIPS, or theory of inventive problem solving, where we try to get the general problem, convert it into a general solution. Your specific problem rather, convert it to a general problem following the trees library, then convert that into a general solution from the trees library, and convert it into specific solution. In the notion that, the problem that you're experiencing maybe as a leader is not something that you've experienced firsthand. There are people who have experienced that before, and we would want to capitalize on that. Okay, so that's complex problem solving. We're trying to build it as a skill as leaders, of course, because we should be problem solvers ourselves. Not only that, if we're leaders, basically we have to learn how to teach our members, the people that we are that we are trying to manage, okay, on how to deal on uncertainties and gaps around the work that we do, or the things that we are actually um performing, okay, in our respective organizations. So that's the importance of complex problem solving, okay, as the first one. The next is basically critical thinking. Okay? So what is critical thinking? Critical thinking is the ability to analyze available facts, evidence, observations, and arguments to form a sound judgment. Okay? I have heard people claiming that they are critical thinker without even checking for facts or data. So that would, really flip the whole definition of critical thinking. So leaders are critical thinkers. They don't just, decide without looking into all probable causes, without even looking into facts or data. I would say that being critical is being data driven. Okay? Nowadays, data is the new oil. Okay? And a leader should decide not purely based on feelings, that's another school of thought, but more of on the data that he or she is seeing. Okay? When we decide, so for example, if you have like some problems, or you have like a problematic scenario before you, just like how investigators work, we have to understand, we have to know what are the sides of the story, what are the data that would make our case or make our argument a sound one. And that is by looking at the data. What happened? Okay? What are your evidences? So we're more of evidence-based decision making, data-driven decision making. Now, how can we improve this critical thinking? Okay? Or what are the areas that are covered by critical thinking? So number one is observation. A critical thinker or a leader with critical thinking skills is good with observation. You have the ability to notice and predict opportunities, problems, and solutions. And this is again you can only predict this based on data, based on historical records and performances. Number two, analysis. You have the ability to gather, understand, and interpret data and other information. Okay? So that is why if you're here, if you're a data person, it's a very good skill set. Okay? You don't have to be a data scientist so that you can maximize the use of your data. You just have to be knowledgeable on the basic steps on how to maximize data-driven decision making. Number three, inference. Inference, you might be hearing inference in statistical related discussions. Inference is basically drawing conclusions based on relevant data, information, and personal knowledge and experience. If you can still remember the thing that I have shared with you like minutes ago, this is what I'm talking about. We try to do inferencing. There's data, okay? There's like, okay, there's a lot of possible transactions maybe, or things that had happened in the past. You pull in some portion of that, a sample, and then from there we infer. That's how inference works. And then we decide. It's not just about feelings, okay? Though I'm not invalidating the value of feelings in decision making, but of course, on top of that, we really have to be data-driven, evidence-based. Fourth, communication. So being a critical thinker, it covers also communication, which in fact is part also of the top 5 skills for the 21st century workplace, if you can still remember. So sharing and receiving information with others, verbally, non-verbally, and in writing. Okay. And of course, another one, we covered this earlier, problem solving. So it's really critical thinking is part of this problem solving. Okay. So if you can see here, critical thinking is very important. You know, you don't have to claim that you're a critical thinker if you don't really put this into practice. So as a leader, you have to be a critical thinker because you'll be doing a lot of decisions. You'll be calling you'll have to call some hard decisions, and this critical thinking as a skill set is very important for you to arrive on decisions that you will not regret doing so. Okay. Next, the third one is creativity. So what is creativity? The creativity is defined as the ability to rise above the conventional way of thinking, to improve and create unique approaches to ideas. Okay? So if you can see, based on what I have shared by far, I have written a book called Creativity Tools. I'm looking for a copy. Creativity Tools, Creative Ways on Developing Solutions to Problem and Opportunities. So in that particular book, I stated that if you want to be innovative, you have to be creative first. Creativity is the ability of a person to think of different ways to do things. Maybe that different way is a better way, a faster way, a more efficient way to do the same activity, or that would produce the same result or even greater results. When I had shared the stage with Francis J. Kong, one of the country's leading motivational speaker, and I handed him over a copy of my book, he asked me how can I define creativity. So what I answered was the same answer that you've heard a couple of seconds ago. And then he replied, for him, creativity is copyativity, as in copyativity. You just have to make it better. And this is, true. That holds true for businesses, right? Creativity, you don't have to be novel. When I say novel, hindi kailangan invention. Kasi invention is different from innovation. Okay? That's two different contexts. Now, before you can do innovation, before you can do, a creative idea, you have to be to start with a creative idea and to basically materialize it. Okay? Transition it to fruition, pangyarihin, okay, or magmaterialize. Okay? So that basically completes the entire cycle of how creativity and innovation is related. So as a leader, you have to be that person that is creative enough, okay? Especially when you're not only for problem solving, for improvements, but also on creating programs for the organization, okay? On how to improve the organizational performance. So shown here, there are 5 stages of the creative process. When we talk about creativity, most of the case I would talk about design thinking or design sprint. But here I'm gonna show you a general process, okay? A general 5-phase process. So it starts with preparation. You do your own research, you try to synthesize, okay? And then you incubate, you explore, you experiment, you synthesize what you have learned from your researches. And then there's going to be the eureka moment, the illumination, the aha moment, okay? And then you would want to evaluate. You have to reflect, criticize, or assess, and decide whether you have to implement it. And, just follow the process until such time that you've come up with that solution that you would want to do, or that particular product or service or idea that you would want to address a particular scenario or a particular gap, okay, in the organization. So creativity, it is a very vague, concept, and it would take a lot of practice to make it a skill. But first things first, you have to understand that creativity is critical for leaders. Okay? You don't have to be, well, of course, there's data driven, the second one that we're talking about. But there are, there are points, there are like instances that you don't need that much of data driven. Yes, of course you're gonna use data still, but not be tied up with the whole process. Like if you've heard of analysis paralysis, sometimes it takes creativity to move from one place to another. Okay, and so far, if you've seen my initiatives, those are, products of my creativity and my team's creativity. So so that, we were enabling things for the community, just like this learning session that we're having right now. Okay, so that's creativity. Number 4, or the fourth one, is collaboration. So collaboration is the ability of two or more people, entities, or organizations to work together to complete a task or achieve a goal. Okay? Most of the cases, you might be hearing it as like a very used term. It became a buzzword, especially when the pandemic hit us. So there's much of collaboration. But really, collaboration is important, especially for leaders. Why? Because there are things that you would want to achieve. Organizationally, professionally, personally, I have experience doing things on my own, and I have experience doing things with other people. And what I could say is that things are done smoother, faster, producing greater results if properly done with a team. Okay? And if the team members, are members that would really contribute to that particular shared goal. Okay? And that's how collaboration works. We're collaborating with so many organizations. We're collaborating with so many subject matter experts for the last 6 years that we're operating as an organization. Did it benefit us as an organization? Yes. Will it benefit you to apply collaboration on your respective workplace? Yes. I can still remember doing projects, like $1 million worth of projects, in the last organization that I was able to work with as an employee. And I've seen how powerful collaboration was in that particular projects that I have handled. Okay. Now, I would like to share with you some material from Hapeo. 5 steps on how to improve collaboration in your workplace. Number 1, you have to create a culture of communication. Of course, communication is one of the 5 or top 5 skills of the 21st century workplace. If you can, I just have to tell you this, but if you haven't noticed yet, these 5 are interrelated skill sets. Okay? One is being used to improve the other, one is being used to facilitate the other, and so on and so forth. So they are really interconnected skills. Okay? So you have to create a culture of communication. When you say communication, open communication in such a way that you are able to bring up like problems, not only good points, but also bad points about how things are being done inside your organization. Number two, you have to specifically define roles and responsibilities. If we put this in the context of a project, this is one of the findings that I've got for the past 11 years. If people have vague idea of or broad idea of what they need to do, like for example, if you invite someone to be part of the project and then say, hey, you're part of the project, but this particular person doesn't know what are his or her roles and responsibilities very specific to this project, he will not he cannot or she cannot contribute 100%. Okay? And that will affect the overall collaboration score of the team. Number three, treat failures as feedback. Of course, when you try to collaborate, you're doing something. Again, achieve a goal, a shared goal. So whenever someone fails in the team that you're being collaborative with, um, don't don't instill the blame culture within the team. Okay. One of the buzzwords also, one of the famous, when I say buzzwords are famous words that are being used in this modern workplace, fail fast. When it means that before you can learn things, significant things, you have to fail. Of course, these failures are with safeguards of calculated risk. Treat those failures as feedback. Treat those failures as points for you to improve and move forward. Okay. Number four, support teams with collaboration tools and software. Of course, especially if you're dealing with remote teams, okay, especially now in this setup, 21st century workplace, we have to be able to facilitate. Are we using MS Teams? Are we using Google Meet? Are we using Facebook or what? Okay, are we using Viber or are there any tools that we could use so that we can facilitate good collaboration? As a leader, your role cuts across these items. Okay, just to reiterate. And number five, provide learning opportunities. So when you try to collaborate as a leader, when you lead a team, when you're collaborating with a team, you provide learning opportunities. Take that opportunity to learn from your members and also try to mentor. So whenever I have projects, especially technical projects as a leader, let's say for example, on that particular context, I try to teach people of, let's say for example, I have this particular tool, say stakeholder analysis and management. So most of my team members, I will ask them if they're familiar, then it's okay. We just need to calibrate. If they're not familiar with the tool, what I do is I try to mentor them. At the same way, if there are things that I don't know, say for example in the context of a project, I listen to them. Similarly, in the organizational context, when you are given a chance to lead, okay, whatever initiative that is, you always try to provide learning opportunities. You learning from them and them learning from you. Okay. And these are steps that you can do on how to improve collaboration. Again, as a leader, you need to be that person who knows to collaborate and to facilitate collaboration among your team members. Next, communication. And this is the last of the 5 C's or the top 5 C's or skills of the 21st century workplace. Communication, the ability to transfer information from one place, person, or group to another effectively. Some people would say, I'm an effective, no, not me, you would say to yourself that I'm an effective communicator, but all you do is to send and send and send, but you don't intend to receive any feedback to the things that you're sending to the other end. Okay? Communication is a very tricky. It's a very tricky skill set. And it's same way, it being tricky, it's a very powerful skill set. Okay? I would not say that I'm a good communicator or a great communicator, but I'm trying my best to be the best communicator or a better communicator rather for every instance or particular instance. Okay? Because communication is not static, it's dynamic. It should change depending on who you are talking to. depending on who you are conversing to or communicating to, depending on who you are writing to. Okay? So these are some tips on how you can improve or how we can improve our communication skills. This is from Upraise. Learn to listen. Most of the times, we the general context is that we are communicating when we are speaking. No, when you are listening, you're also communicating. And sometimes, more than being great speakers, people need or members of organizations or projects or NGOs or student organizations. They need someone, a leader that is or that has the ability to listen. Okay, studying and understanding nonverbal communication. So when I attended this particular training called Train the Trainers or T3, sponsored by my previous organization, we were thought of nonverbal communication. So the use of hands, whenever you speak and you face your left part or right side or something like that. Those particular, those particular nonverbal cues or actions or gestures have equivalent meanings. They have their own meanings and interpretations. And as a leader, you will have to communicate, of course, not only with people on your level, people that you are managing, and people that are managing you. Okay. Horizontally and vertically, you are communicating. Okay. So you have to understand not only verbal, but also non-verbal communication, because that will uh, give you the advantage of becoming the better communicator. Emotional awareness and management. Sometimes communication is really driven by how we feel and even how the other person in the communication channel feels. Okay, and it affects the flow of communication. So we have to be very aware of their emotional state when we are trying to communicate with them. Number 4, questioning skills. Of course, when you try to communicate, you try to ask questions. Okay, so you have to learn how the art of asking questions. Okay, the art of asking the right questions. Okay, knowing your audience, specifically, for example, if you're giving a talk like this, or maybe you're trying to deliver a report, you have to understand who will be the audience. So whenever you are asked to deliver a report or to do a speech, always ask who will be my audience. And that will significantly improve your communication delivery to this particular audience. And of course, engage the audience. Okay? So you have to engage audience, solicit questions if you have time, and ask for participation from time to time. This works not only for learning sessions, but also in real life, like facilitating meetings and such, even delivering keynote speeches and all. So, but again, that will vary from scenario to scenario. Okay, so that is communication. Again, as a leader, you have to be the better communicator. Okay, and you have to understand that communication is not just one way; it should be a two-way process. Okay. So, just a form of recap before we go to the third phase. Can you type in that 5 C's or top 5 skills for the 21st century that we just covered? Can you type it in the chat box? All of them? Okay. Before we go to the next phase. So all of them. First one, who will type, okay, everything from 1 to 5 in one type will receive a prize. So I'm seeing here Mitzi Margaret. So si Mitzi Margaret, she said complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. All right. So Mitzi, thank you for that. As promised, you will receive a prize. Team, can you get the name of participant with code 0221, please. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. I'm seeing your responses. Okay. I hope you don't have to master it now, but at least have at least a recall of what are the five. Okay. The five C's. All right. All right. So now we know that already. Okay. And I hope that when we are doing that, you're trying to also assess or reassess with that skills, with that five C's, what is my assessment now? Am I really on 3 point something, or am I better? Am I worse? Okay. Sorry for the use of term, because we're trying to, make sense out of our skill set. So whatever the score may be, if there are gaps, okay, so try to assess yourselves with relative to that five C's. Okay. Next, last phase would be continue. Now, how can we close the gap to become a hashtag significantly better professional? So for the 11 years that I'm practicing this particular model, these are things that I would say that could help out. Okay. There are 4 items that I would like to share with you on how you can close the gap. Number 1, of course, the most commonly used solution to address that particular gap is taking trainings and workshops. It doesn't have to be paid trainings. There are a lot of trainings that are free, especially nowadays. If you go to aslexph.com/courses, there are a lot of free learning opportunities, 1-hour short courses that generates e-certificates, just to shamelessly plug, that you can take on. And you have Coursera, you have Udemy, there's a lot, there's YouTube, there's really a lot of free trainings. But also, you would want to take on paid trainings because, of course, there's a little much more value to attending paid training. It's really up to you how you would plan your development. So you can take trainings and workshops. Number 2, you can join related communities of practice. When you say communities of practice, we're talking about, of course, let's say if you're an engineer here, you would want to join a group of engineers specific to your specialization. If you're a business person here, you would want to, join a business group, right? If you're a student here, you would want to be part of an organization, student organization. So there's really a lot of group that you can join depending on what skill or interest that you would want to build upon. Okay, for example, we have Pinoy IEs for Filipino industrial engineers in the Philippines. We also have our alumni group for those people who have undertaken our programs. We have sorry, there's a microphone that is on. Can we make sure that we're okay? Can we make sure that our microphones are off so that we can have this learning session smoothly? We're about to end, by the way. Okay. So as leaders, if you would want to, of course, be leaders, you have to continuously, as mentioned by one of our participants here, Christine Machenzo, true leaders are never afraid to develop more leaders, of course. Okay. But before you can develop more leaders, you have to be that leader first, right? You have to be the leader first. Number 3, find a mentor. It really helps. I have a lot of mentors. I have life mentors. I have professional mentors, and these are mentors that though there are paid mentors, but the mentors that I have right now, they don't ask for anything in return. I mean, in terms of money. I have mentors coming from the United. Most of my mentors in career are people who are from the United States, and these are people who have age like in the range of 60s to 70s. I don't know. we are younger people, they are young people. I don't want to use the other term to be politically correct. Um, most of the young people, uh, they tend to find amusement in me. I don't know, maybe because I have this spirit of continuously improving myself. Okay, so I gain advices from them, and that really helps a lot. I'm able to avoid mistakes that they have. Basically they have to take, and they have to address big time. Okay, but I have the luxury now to not to commit those mistakes because I have learned from their mistakes already. Whenever we do, coaching and such, there are paid mentors, there are free mentors, pro bono mentors. I'm doing pro bono mentoring for personal strengths maximization. So maybe one of these days, I think that's part of what is the team will promote later on, ALAB. So that's part of it. And then of course sharing what you've learned. You can share not only through webinars, not only through speaking engagements. You can do personal mentoring or coaching. You can do writing it down through a blog, or doing like TikToks or reels. There, this age have provided so many platforms for one to share what he or she have learned so far, and that actually helps build that competency. Teaching and sharing your experience and expertise is one way to continuously build the competency moving forward. So you can either take trainings and workshops, join related groups or communities of practice. You find the mentor, and of course, you share what you have learned so far. Okay. Now again, it's a pretty simple model. It's just assess, build, and continue, and that would probably help you out as much as it helped me to become #significantly better and relevant to the 21st century workplace. Now, what are my reflections so far as I end? So far, these are my reflections. Number one, as a leader in the 21st century workplace, okay, you have to be the person that sees the bigger picture. You have to see how things are connected. You have to see how things affects each other. What are the trade-offs? Are there things that I need to put in the equation so that the whole equation would matter or would make sense? If you have heard of systems thinking, okay, you might be using the Sir Lex hat and try to look for that systems thinking. That's one way to put it up. Okay. Number two, you have to always ask the right questions. There is no wrong answer. There are only wrong questions. If you ask the wrong question, you'll get the wrong answer. And by asking the right questions, we are trying to challenge things. And by challenging things, we are about to lead people to new frontiers and innovations. Okay. As a leader, make sure that you know how to deliver results. A leader does not just talk about how things should be done. You should be also that person that could lead a team to deliver results. Okay. Organizationally speaking, companies pay these professionals, you as leaders, because you're delivering results. As for NGOs, for student organizations, for whatever unit of the community or the society that you are in as a leader, we always have to deliver results. And for the last 11 years of my experience as a leader in different contexts, I've seen that whenever you started delivering results, rest will follow. If you find resistance at first, it's okay. It's natural. But when you try to share the success story that you have done, that you have achieved, the results that you have delivered, everything will fall into their proper places. So see the bigger picture, ask the right questions, and deliver results. And I guess that's gonna be the end of my talk. Of course, I encourage you to always to continue to be hashtag to significantly better. You don't have to do it by yourselves. We can do it together. Okay? With that, maraming salamat po. And I'm now open to any questions that you might have before the rest of the team would introduce this good program that we have for you. Okay, any questions? Okay. Yan. Sige. Habang nag-iisip ko ng question, Jana, you might want to, of course, I'm giving back the floor to you so that you can introduce our new program, ALAB.
Ayan. Thank you so much po, Sir Felix. Ayan.
Sir. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Sir Felix, for your wonderful words of presentation. And sorry for the technical issues earlier po. So I am here now with my partner, Jana. And we're now going to begin answering the questions you guys will send. So meron kami prepare na Menti link na isi-send natin sa chat box. So if you have question, feel free to send it in on the Menti link. Wait lang po.
You may also use the code po. Ayan. Can we have a copy? Hello, Sir Lex. From Miss Yason po. Can we have a copy on what we discussed po?
Yeah, sure. I'll communicate with the team, the ALAB team, for a PDF copy, and maybe they could share it by along with your e-certificates for this learning session. So yeah, you can have a PDF copy. Thank you.
Thank you so much po. Ayan. So let me share my screen po for the question and answer po. Ayan. Kita na po yung screen.
Yes po.
Ayan. So for the first question po, Sir Lex, how do you keep your team motivated despite conflicts and obstacles po?
How do you keep your team motivated despite conflicts and obstacles? Well, of course, this conflicts and obstacles, when we say conflicts kasi different from obstacles, di ba? When you say conflict, it could be some sort of maybe internal conflicts, no, I would say. So maybe mute lang po natin yung mga microphones so that we don't create interference yan. So when conflicts, I think conflicts kasi we don't usually experience it that much. Ang conflicts namin when we discuss ideas, laging of course, when we talk about people, they have different opinions, they have different interests, and they have different takes. So usually what I do is to hear out muna ano yung mga thoughts and ideas of the person that are involved in conflicting na scenarios, and then from there we gauge. We don't basically favor one idea because the person is of higher position or rank and the other is not. We basically assess the ideas and we critique the ideas, not the person. Usually yun yung ginagawa natin. So that's for conflicts. For obstacles, of course, there are a lot of obstacles. No, uh, how how do we maintain the motivation? We always just go to our purpose statement. Meron kasi kaming purpose statement. No? Parang ang sabi namin doon, ayun nga yung let's continue to be #significantly better together. So all the things na nangyari in the usually during the pandemic, di ba, we have to shift operations from face to digital. Meron kaming mga projects na kailangan pa rin gawin, even the budget is very tight. So I always try to lead them back dun sa ano yung purpose. Ba't ba tayo nag-i-exist? What is our purpose? So with that, mas naiintindihan nila na may mga bagay kami na dapat gawin, may mga bagay kami na dapat i-sacrifice, may mga bagay kami na kailangan ituloy na gawin, na i-practice so that we can achieve that purpose, no? So that we can live to that particular purpose. Yan. So siguro yun yung pwede kong masagot doon. Hopefully I was able to give light to your question.
Thank you so much po, Sir Felix, for that answer po. For the next question po.
So for the next question, wait. So how can I properly ask someone to be my mentor po?
Ayan. This is a very good question, no? Yung pagkuha ng mentor kasi, getting a mentor, again, there are paid mentors and free mentors. You have to be very vocal. You have to be very blunt, whether ang gusto mo ba ay paid mentorship or gusto mo ba ay pro bono mentorship. Ako, ang ginagawa ko ganito. I introduce myself. Well, paano? Email ba yan, Sir Lex? If you have LinkedIn, there are a lot of professionals at LinkedIn. Most of my mentors are from LinkedIn. So, ako sa LinkedIn ako. And then I usually send them a message. Magpapakilala ako, of course, I have to introduce myself na I'm Felix Viroy from the Philippines and blah, 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 blah. This is a short background, maybe 2-3 sentences. And then next would be, I will be sharing that I would want to be mentored by this particular person. If he or she is open to pro bono mentorship, because at the current time, if you don't have money at the current time, don't worry. Just tell them that you don't have. And then, it's really up to them if they will accept you or not. Kasi hindi mo pwedeng ipilit yung sarili mo. And hindi siya yung one time, big time, no? Of course, for example, if you're familiar with Chris Do, yung sikat na creative person, o kaya si Simon Sinek, sikat na inspirational speaker. Of course, hindi naman siguro na sila kayang mag-accommodate ng one-on-one mentorship no pro bono. So, syempre, i-gauge din natin depending on the interest that we have and the practice that we would want to, or the craft that we would want to build, no? So, you can just tell them that you really wanted to be mentored by this person, and then just see whether magre-respond siya or hindi. Kung hindi siya mag-respond, hindi ibig sabihin niya hindi kanya gustong i-mentor. Sometimes these persons are really busy persons, no? Ako meron akong experience, just to conclude yung sagot ko. 1 year bago ako na-replyan. So hindi siya yung tipong pag nag-send kayo ng message or ng email agad mare-replyan. Sometimes it really will take time. But for my case, it's worth the wait, sabi nga nila. Okay? I hope I was able to answer that question. Sige.
Thank you, Sir Felix, for that answers. So for the next question, Sir Felix, the question is how do you deal with a difficult team or specific member?
Oh, this is a very good question. Hindi yan mawawala sa isang team, no? As a leader, that I would say that creates some sort of headache for us leaders. And if I have learned, no, if one thing that I have learned, no, so far in handling difficult people, it's really trying to understand where they are coming from. Sometimes you'll be surprised na yung palang tao na to, kaya lang siya nagiging difficult team member, it's because kulang siya sa attention. Kumbaga parang gusto niya lang na mabigyan ng attention. And it will boil down to understanding what is the what do you call this, personality of this person. I'm a strong believer that each and every of us is unique in ways, iba. So you have to understand ano yung uniqueness na yon. And from that uniqueness, you'll understand bakit siya nagiging difficult team member. Okay? And from there, you can do interventions. For example, may team member ako na I have experience na parang gusto siya lagi yung nasusunod. Okay? So, I try to give him some time to facilitate the meeting. Sige, sabi ko, natural naman, kunwari, Calix na lang yung pangalan. Natural naman Calix. Gusto mo lagi, ikaw yung ano. So, why not you facilitate the meeting? Okay? And then, from that moment, parang tinanggihan niya yung opportunity. So, sabi ko sa kanya, if you have something to say, say. Kasi parang pag may nagsasalita, kinakat niya yung mga tao. Which is normally, you will see that in as a character of a difficult team member. So sabi ko, parang you have now the spotlight, you facilitate the meeting. So hindi rin naman niya tinik. Sabi ko kapag when someone is speaking, so parang nire-lecturean ko siya. But of course, you have to maintain composure kasi you don't have to show na ikaw yung leader, and then you have to parang reprimand in public. So we don't do that as much as possible. Try to avoid doing that because of course different leaders, different approaches din. Ako parang okay, sige try mong magano. And then after nung kinausap ko siya in private, sabi ko because it's not helping the team. Diba? There are members that would want to share the experience or their ideas rather, but you keep on blocking them. So what seems to be the problem? So parang after that, knowing na yun nga may gusto niya na parang yung mga ideas niya na nako-consider. So we did some interventions. So yan. So maraming iba-ibang klase ng pagiging difficult kasi it's just one example. And these are things that will be I don't want to promote but will be part of ALAB kasi yun nga. These are common things that are being source of headaches for leaders. Sorry, for the benefit of time being, I can only answer 2 more questions since meron pa tayong kailangan gawin. But please send your questions I will try to answer them via LinkedIn. I'll post everything on my LinkedIn and Facebook account so that all of the people would try to learn from all the questions that you've raised. And I really appreciate the questions. Hopefully, I'm making sense out of the answers that I'm giving so far. Sige, last 2 questions tayo, team.
Okay. Thank you so much po. Yan. For the next question po. Hi sir, I am now working in operations department. May I ask po if applicable po ba ang DMAIC to improve the process in back office in the documentation po? Thank you, sir.
Alright, so DMAIC yun po yung sa complex problem solving natin na methodology, one of the methodologies, no? Back office, well, virtually the complex problem solving approaches naman could be applicable to virtually anything, no? If you're having troubles with like maybe compliance or conformance issues or lead time issues, yan, mga errors being created in this particular process, I think applicable siya. If you want to learn more and discuss more, feel free to add me at LinkedIn. Yan, para at least maging connected tayo sa So I can answer your question on a specific context ng experience mo or na-experience mo ngayon. I'm gonna drop my LinkedIn link dito sa chat box so that you can add me. Okay. Last question maybe for now. Again, I'll be trying to answer these questions via LinkedIn and Facebook post. Yan, para at least makita niyo po siya.
Thank you so much po ulit, sir, sa inyo pong question. Ayan. For the next one po.
So I'll be answering this last one na. Sorry for the benefit of time lang.
Ayan po. Sir, how to overcome communication barriers? I'm working as supervisor here in Singapore and handles different nationalities of technicians. What tips can you share, sir? Thank you.
Wow, this is a very good question. Talking about cross-functional teams with different backgrounds. Well, ito lang, context. I'm doing an executive MBA. Estudyante din po ako ngayon, no? Executive MBA, US-based. Of course, US-based, tapos ang daming nationality ng mga na nandun, no? As in all over the globe yung students. So there was this topic that was part of the first few topics that we have to take. And this talks about cultural intelligence. So we have emotional intelligence, intelligent quotient, di ba, may mga ganun, no? This is more of cultural intelligence. And this is there's a what do you call this? There's a assessment kung ano dapat yung approach sa bawat culture. Okay? So different nationalities, different approaches most of the cases. Plus organizational culture. Iba pa yung culture, when you say culture, culture na based doon sa kung ano yung background or yung nationality. Iba pa rin yung organizational culture. Halimbawa, yung culture ng organization mo ay mga tao hindi mo siya nakikipag-usap sa kapwa empleyado kasi work. So iba pa yon. So I would suggest kasi yung communication is isang factor is really yung mga cultural perspectives, etc. So I would suggest that you take that, hindi ko lang matandaan kung ano yung link, pero pwede ko siyang i-search. Again, so that I can help you better, you might want to connect with me at LinkedIn and then i-message mo ako. If you can read between the lines, I'm offering some sort of mentorship already. So you can send me an invite, let's be connected at LinkedIn. And then hanapin ko yung questionnaire na yun. I'll share it with you so that you learn ano yung specific approaches para ma-break yung communication barriers mo. Kasi may factor yun eh, yung sinasabi mo ng mga nationalities and even organizational perspective. Na parang dapat paano mo siya kausapin, paano mo siya dapat even physical distance kasama doon. Gaano kalayo ka dapat kapag nakikipag-usap, kapag gantong nationality, may ganon. So, kaya sobrang cool nun. So, but again, that's also part of ALAB, by the way, no? Biglang promote eh. But anyways, yun po. Again, sorry if we can only answer much of the questions that you have right now because we still have to give time for yung ALAB na info session natin. Rest assured that these questions will be answered. Yung mga nasagot ko na previously, I can also repost that on my LinkedIn. So please, let's get connected at LinkedIn. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sir Lex, for answering the questions of our participants. So, sa mga hindi nasagot, as tulad ng sinabi ni Sir, don't worry, sasagutin ni Sir Lex yung mga question na to. Mga questions na sinend nyo. So, I know madaming natutunan ng lahat. Ikaw ba, Jana? Anong natutunan mo from the lessons na tinuro ni Sir?
Sa akin, partner, kasi pinakatumatak talaga sa akin yung make sure how to deliver results. Ayun. Siyempre, di ba, hindi lang sapat na kaya mong magsabi paano gawin yung isang bagay. Pero pagka ginawa mo na, parang hindi mo na siya kayang gawin together with your team. Parang hahayaan mo silang gawin kung ano yung gusto mo. Parang ganun. So, it is really better na you know how to deliver the results. Ayun. Ikaw ba, partner?
So sa akin, yung one lesson talaga na tumatak is yung continuing learning and yung building competency. So dapat go lang ng go tayo, hindi tayo titigil sa isang porket alam na natin to, dito na tayo, that go lang ng go. So yun.
Oo, tama. Ayan, so don't go away nga po since there will be an attendance po which will be used po para sa inyong e-certificate. Ayan po. Thank you so much po sa lahat ng nakinig kay Sir Felix and we will be proceeding to the next part of this session po.
So, to introduce our first ever leadership bootcamp, let us welcome Jana Raisa Masaho together with our team.
Ayan, so I will be preparing the presentation po. Ano po? Just a minute po. Visible na po ba yung screen?
Yes po.
Ayan. So, good day everyone. I'm Janarisa Masaho and together with my team, Angelica May Ancheta, Christian Rosales, and Marijoy Armaniaga, we will be presenting to you the ALAB, the new program of ASEC PH Academy. ALAB stands for Alpha Leadership Acceleration Bootcamp. So, from the word itself, leadership, ayan. So, alam naman po natin lahat na we are striving to become better leaders of our own generation, na parang magiging way po tayo and help other people to become leaders themselves also. Ayan. So, today a reader, tomorrow a leader. Ayan. So, tama po yun na maganda po kasi na nagbabasa tayo, mahilig tayo magbasa para matuto tayo na kung paano natin mas mai-improve ang ating mga sarili. So for the next part, ayan, so we have the table of contents, the target participants, courses included, learning format, duration, and price. And so standby lang po kayo dyan, we will be explaining each of this thoroughly po. Next po, target participants po natin, we have all graduating students and young professionals who want to join the first ever Alpha Leadership Acceleration Bootcamp or ALAB and be equipped as a leader in the 21st century workplace. So this program is connected to the discussion by Sir Felix po a while ago. Ano po, dahil yun nga po, since tayo po ay nag-move na sa ating 21st century workplace, we need more skills. Kailangan po natin ma-equip of something na mas benefit tayo and yung ating ililid in the future po. Lalo ngayon po na we are having hybrid setups like face-to-face and we have the virtual setup po. So how can we be an effective leader towards that different setups po? Ayan, next po, courses included. So we have Introduction of Alpha and the Alpha Leadership Acceleration Bootcamp. So company program introduction. So you will be knowing ano ka ba as a leader currently, okay? How are you as a leader as of the moment? Program objectives outline and key result ideas, how to use this e-learning module. Ito po ay, kung familiar po ang lahat sa ASLEX na learning management system, yung LMS, so nandun po lahat ng courses na ino-offer po ni ASLEX. And doon din po natin ma-take itong ALAB course. Ayun. So, leading self, understanding personal strengths or accelerated individual and organizational success. Ayun po, so kagaya sinabi ko kanina, ano yung currently leadership skills na meron ka? Ano yung pinopossess mo na ina-apply mo ngayon sa iyong mga nililid? Ayan, leading self. So, syempre, di ba, we have to start sa sarili natin. How we lead ourselves first. And then next is leading others. So, dito na po papasok yung ating complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication, which is, I know, nabanggit din po ni Sir Felix kanina po sa kanyang discussion. Ayun. So, how can we lead others kung hindi po tayo marunong makipag-collaborate, hindi natin kayang makipag-communicate with other people, kung hindi natin kayang para i-receive kung ano yung feedback, kung ano yung suggestions nila sa atin. So, here in this second course, ito po leading others, we will be knowing how can we effectively then and efficiently work and lead other people. Ayan. Next is leading organizations. Leading organizations, this is much bigger po. Ano po, since we are graduating students and some of the people, some of the individuals here are working in huge and big companies po towards the across the Philippines and even abroad. Ano po, ayan. So, leading organizations, you will be knowing strategic management, project management, and change management. These topics are available din po sa ating sa atin pong LMS ng ASLEX. Ayan po. And personally po, I've taken project management and I am using it in my term as of the moment since I'm the current president of our local organization. And it is really helpful po for people like us na leaders po ng ating organization na kaya nating mag-lead. Even if tingnan niyo po, in small organizations, I was able to use project management. What more pa kung kayo po na nasa companies and other estates po na gumagamit ang project management, you will be able to lead your teams better and the company to greater heights to its future ventures po. And so, syempre po, we would like to know kung natuto po ba kayo, kung ano po yung nakuha nyo from us by having case study. So, case study, we have three stages po sa ating case study, which is yung first, preparation. Ano po yung magiging topics na inyong ipopropose na inyo pong gagawin for the case study. Nasubmit nyo po yun sa amin, which is yung case study submission. And then next is, case study presentation. You will be presenting it po sa amin so that we will be able to ask you regarding your output. Yan po. So, syempre po, ito pong ALAB na to ay dinesign po ni Sir Lex to have your certification after you've taken all the necessary courses and after you have or submitted your case study. Ayan po. So, we have certification examination like what we have po sa ating ASLEX, PH, Academy, LMS. Mga certifications po nila doon na magbigay sa atin ng certificate na pwede po natin magamit din sa ating work. Ayan po. So, conferment of certification. Ayan. Okay. Ayan. So, what can you expect po sa ating course o sa ating program? So, we have the saying, be hashtag significantly better with our Alpha Leadership Acceleration Bootcamp and Certification Program. Ayan. Dahil we want us to become hashtag significantly better leader ng 21st century. Ayan. Alpha Leadership Bootcamp will help your leadership skills make a quantum leap to the next level of performance, productivity, and effectiveness. May mga bagay po kasi na akala natin okay na, akala natin enough na kung paano tayo mag-lead sa ating organization, sa ibang tao, sa ating small group. Akala natin okay na yon, akala natin sapat na yon para maging leader tayo. Pero as we go on through this course, you will be knowing na, okay, may mas effective pa palang paraan para maging leader ako. May mas effective pa palang paraan para makapag-deliver kami ng results. Ito po ay dinesign ng ating si Sir Felix and the ASLEX team para po sa ating mga leaders na gusto po i-improve pa ang kanilang mga sarili. Ayan. So, next po, e-learning format. So, during weekdays, meron po tayo self-paced e-learning. So, sa mga nagtitake na po ng courses sa ASLEX, ay alam po natin ito na meron po silang module doon sa kanilang LMS. So, pwede po natin i-take sa free time po natin. So, hindi po siya hassle sa ating mga oras. Kung kailan po tayo free, ay pwede po natin siyang tapusin. And syempre po, during weekends, we have live online classes via Zoom para po naman mas maging engaging and mas matuto po tayo sa ating mga speakers. And kay Sir Lex po, natuturuan po tayo how we will become hashtag significantly better leader. Yan. Kung makikita niyo po sa inyong mga Zoom background, meron po siyang Grow with Alpha and Leadership 4.0 kasi ile-level up po natin yung skills nyo when it comes to leadership. Next po, kailan po siya mangyayari? Ano po yung duration niya? October 23, 29, 30, and November 5, 6, 12, 13, 19, 20, 25, and 27. Kasama na din po dyan yung inyo pong pag-graduate. Ayun po. Ayan. So, we are still preparing for more details po regarding this project or this program po. And rest assured po na ang inyo pong mapapasokong program ay worth ng inyo pong babayaran. Diyan lang po kayo, wag po kayong aalis. Ayan, so price, what is the value of the money that you will pay? 50,000 OMG. Siguro sa mga nakakita nito, leave agad. Okay, so ay malaki, 50,000, hindi ko kaya. Starting student, kahit nga nagtatrabaho siguro ako, hindi ko kaya bayaran yan. Di ba? Yan yung unang papasok sa isip natin. Pero syempre, as Lex provide value creation and hindi sila yung magbabayad ka ng malaki for nothing. And so yon, but ito po yung but. We have a special offer. Ano po kaya sa tingin niyo yung offer namin na yon? Ayan. So, nakita niyo po yung post natin, recent post, yung kauna-unahang post ko ni Aslex about this acceleration bootcamp. Ayan, alam niyo na po kung ano pong ibig ko sabihin. Ayan. So, we have this 90% discount. Naging 5,000 na lang po siya. Okay po. And, alam niyo po, nung pinasend po to sa amin ni Sir Felix, super na-amaze po kami how he wants to deliver value na talagang magbe-benefit po ang lahat na gantong kaliit lang yung price. Ano po. So, baka tatanong nyo, what is the value of the money that you will pay? Ano nga ba yung makukuha ko kapag nagbayad ako ng 5K? Okay, excited na po ba kayo? Ayan. Excited na po ba kayo? If you are excited, type 1 naman po dyan. May excited po ang lahat. Ayan. 1. Ayun, excited. Nasa waiting room. Yes, ayan po. Kagaya po na sinabi ni Sir Felix, ito po yung binabanggit natin. Ayan, certification. See, tingnan niyo po kung gaano po kadami yung kayang i-provide sa inyo ng inyo pong 5K. You have this certification sa pwede nyo pong makuha. Project management, change management, fundamental certification, strategic management, data science, yellow belt, Six Sigma white belt, continuous improvement fundamental certified, grabe. Kung alam niyo lang po kung magkano po ito each. And Aslex is offering you for 5K. Nakukuha niyo po ito lahat. Imagine po yung kung magkano ang inyo po matitipid, kung magkano po yung makukuha niyo. Aside from being hashtag significantly better leader, ay makukuha niyo pa po itong following certifications na ito. Ayan. So, yun po, sabi nga po ni Sir Lex kanina, it comes with various certifications in areas of problem solving, creativity, project management, change management, and strategic management. Ayun po. So, I hope po kayo po ay na-enlightenan kung parang naisip niyo po na 5K ko to. Ayan. 50K from 50K to 5K. Imagine how Aslex is really trying and as in gustong-gusto po nila tayong improve ang ating mga sarili. Ayan, pati po yung ka-team ko, mga ka-team ko, gusto din po nilang sumali. Ayan, dahil nga po, sobrang sulit po ng 5K, from 50,000 to 5K, a 90% discount. And so, we really want to thank Sir Felix for having this kind of program po, specifically for ourselves, sa ating mga leaders, and sa mga gusto pang maging leader. Ayan po. So, interested individuals po, young professionals and graduating students can apply an educational loan via invested payable from 12 to 36 months. So, hindi po nyo ito babayaran ng bagsakan na 5,000. Ano po, pwede nyo po siyang bayaran for 12 to 36 months. Imagine po, na in your 5K, you will get those certifications. Tapos, hindi lang po yun. Kaya pwede niyo siyang bayaran ng hindi lang isang bagsakan. Imagine, 'di ba? If your application is approved po. Ayun, 'di ba? So, si Sir Felix po ay yun po ang nagsabi na kung ma-approve po ang application for the educational loan, yun po. Ayan. So, I hope po ay na-enlighten po ang lahat at mas naisip na 50,000 to 5K, magiging hashtag significantly better leader ako for the 21st century workplace. Ano po, imagine. Ayan. So, get in touch po. Ito po ang place, ito po ang location ng ating, ito po ang location ng ating office. And you may contact this po, www.asexph.com and email po namin. Ayan. So, 18 to 35 po ang ating young professionals po. And every what time po ang class. Yung sa class niyo po, if I'm not mistaken po, ay Sir Lex, di po ba ay ang sabi po ni Sir Lex, but for the loan po ay until 40 po. Pwede rin consider. Ayan. So, for the class, we have 8 a.m. to 12 noon po. Ayan. So, half day lang po siya. Ayan po. So, may we invite po then Sir Felix De Roya po for this discussion po. Baka po may gusto po po itanong ang ating pong participants regarding ALAB. Ayan. So, ayan po.
Ayan. Thank you, Jana, for that great info session. So as mentioned by Jana, yung program is designed, yung yellow belt, na-publish ng hindi pa siya sure na isasama kasi yung the live online sessions itself, sobrang dami na nun. But we'll try to lobby with the management kasi medyo pricey kasi siya. The yellow belt itself is 5,000 na siya no? The PMFC is about 2,500 na kagad yun. So parang 7,500 yun pa lang. And we have live online classes. But anyway, we'll try to lobby. Most likely kung may matatanggal man, baka yung yellow belt lang. But the other certifications will stay. The format is, as of now kasi we're building the e-learning. So most likely, kapag may mga na-activate na e-learning, magkaka-access na kayo. Pero definitely, ang sure, as of now, because it's just, a launch. So kung hindi man makompleto lahat ng e-learning, magkakameron pa rin kayo ng access, kumbaga as pioneer batch. So live online classes siya. We cannot for 5,000, we cannot accommodate face-to-face. Sobrang mahal mag-operate ng face-to-face ngayon. So as of now, lahat naka face-to-face classes. Naka live online classes. And it will happen October 22 hanggang November-ish, parang first 2 weekends. And then live online sessions. So yung format ng learning is may live online. I'll teach you. By the way, ako personally ang magtuturo of most of the subjects. And then merong mga requirements like mga case studies, individual case studies in between the sessions that you'll have to do by teams. Okay, para at least ma-practice yung mga skills na gusto namin ma-build sa inyo. And then sa dulo, magkakameron tayo ng presentation ng as a team, again, to communicate, no? To communicate yung ating and to check yung proficiency natin. So all of that will happen. And then yung graduation natin, we'll try, posibleng magkameron tayo ng face-to-face graduation for those who can attend, but with additional cost. Kasi hindi talaga namin, as much as we want, but we cannot shoulder every expenses kasi we're still a business. We have to still earn and to what do you call this? Use money, diba? To continuously operate. So baka magkameron ng graduation, those who would want to attend personally ay mag-a-add siguro ng some amount, no? Maximum siguro around, I don't know yet, pero siguro about 1,000 to 2,500, something like that, which includes probably yung mga So yung mga yung physical logistics side. Anyways, but still there will be virtual graduation that will be available. So what else? Ayun, so from your self assessment up until dun sa organizational level, will cover that, no? For the loan, kaka-sign lang namin ng agreement with Invested. That's a startup that provides educational financing. So pwede po silang mag-accommodate ng yung program, yung ALAB, open po siya kahit anong age. Pwede po 'yan. Open naman po siya. Yung sa loan lang po ang alam ko is less than 40. Tapos yung loan hindi siya sure ha, by approval po ni Invested. Sorry medyo sobrang katilang ng throat ko. So, to cut this short, if you have questions, we can still accommodate your questions. Anyone can join, any age range. Yung may limit lang tayo most likely ay yung sa educational loan. But if you will not avail that loan, and this is not guaranteed ha, based on their requirements, we will post a different path nung paano kayo pwedeng mag-apply. Tapos sila, pag na-approve kayo, sila yung magbabayad sa amin and then you will be the one who will be paying them. Ganun po yung magiging model. Tapos you can request, I don't know if you can request, but ang sabi nila 12 to 36 months with X%. Of course, may interest po siya. But that will make even students na walang pambayad ngayon, pwede kayong makapag-join kasi nga, pwede kayong mag-apply ng educational loan from Invested. So, I hope we were able to give you some learning from this point forward. It's 12:02. So I guess, Jana, if you have anything else to say, the floor is yours so that we can take the photo op tayo tapos maybe let's conclude para makapag-lunch na rin yung mga tao. Thank you.
Okay po. Thank you so much po everyone for attending our session for today po. So before we end po, and yun po, we are inviting everyone here in Zoom meeting to open their cameras po para po sa ating photo op. Ayan. Ang fresh naman po ng mga tao dito sa Zoom. Ayan. Yeah. Ayan, let's wait for others po to open their camera. Ayan. And then I will bring po.
Sige, open ng cam para at least we have documentation of this pioneering event, no? And so, nandyan yung mga madalas ko na rin nakikita sa mga sessions ng ASLEX, mga alumni. Ayan, hello. Thank you for continuously supporting previous students from BSU. Ayan, fellow faculty members from different universities. Maraming salamat po for your continued support. Hopefully, for those who are asking, by the way, very short na lang promotion. We will have a combined yellow belt and project management program face-to-face. First face-to-face after so many years, almost 3 years. Dito nga lang po yan sa Batangas, no? But if you're interested, we are opening 50 slots. We only have 39 slots as of this writing. October 29 and 30 combined yellow belt and project management here at Batangas, San Tomas Suites FPIP Batangas. So join na po kayo. So if you're joining as a group, may discount. Para kami namimigay dito ng certification. Alam mo yon, yung pagkakatapos ng training, may kinita ba tayo? Wala? Wala pala. Sige, ulitin ulit natin para wala ulit tayo kitain. Kidding aside, we're trying to democratize lifelong learning for each and every Filipino learners. But anyways, yun po, if you have like friends or peers or colleagues, baka po interested sila. Shameless plugging, no, as we're trying to get more people to open their cam. Yan. Wala na bang hahabol? So if wala na, let's take the photo and so you can announce how they can get their certificates.
So bibilang lang po ako ng 1 to 3 and then ayan. So, 1, 2, 3, smile. Ayun, wait lang po. Isi-save lang po natin saglit. Ayan. So, punta po tayo sa next page. Hindi lang po kayo. Hindi niyo po alam kung nasa ang page po kayo. Ayun. So, next page po. 1, 2, 3, smile. Ayan po. Thank you so much po. Huwag po muna kayong aalis dahil i-explain po muna namin kung paano niyo po makakuha ang inyong mga e-certificates. Ayan po. So, one of our team will be sending the link po for the post-registration or the evaluation form or feedback form na doon po namin i-base kung regarding po sa inyong e-certificate. So, make sure po na ang inyo pong names and emails na ilalagay ay correct po para po masend po namin sila sa inyo right away. Ayun po. So, next, we will be having raffles po.
Yes, do the raffle. Go
Okay
ahead.
po. So, this will be quick lang po no, para po sa ating raffle. Ayun.
Ano yung mapapanalunan nila? Sorry.
Ayun. So, mananalo po sila sir ng 100 pesos Gcash or Paymaya po. Ayun po. Thank you, Sir Felix and Asex team for participating. Thank you po, Ms. Christine. Thank you po sa inyong lahat, Sir Emmanuel, Sir Kenneth, or Ma'am Kenneth. Sir Kenneth po. Ayun po. Hello po. Ayun po. Hello po, team. I think, ako na po ba mag-share screen for the, for the raffle? Okay. Okay. Ayan. So, I hope visible na po ang aking screen. Ayan. Okay. Gutom na po ang everyone. So, bilisan lang po natin to. 5 lang po ito. Ayan. Sino po ang ating first winner? Ayan. I hope po yan dito po agad siya. Abel, bigyan po. Nandito ka po ba sa Zoom? If yes po
Present.
ay,
Present
hello.
po.
Hello po. Ayan, kindly message po, Miss Chris Dayan Rosales po for your Gcash and name po. Ayan po. Ayun, team, pakilis din po ng ating winners para mamonitor natin.
Sige, Jana.
Okay, thank you so much. Last 4 po. And remember po yung atin pong session, kanina sabi po ni Sir na game, na-post po ng kayo po ay nanonood ng ating session. Ayun. Hello po, Miss Justin Grace Cabaysa. Are you here po?
Hello po. Yes
Hello.
po.
Hello po. Ayun po. Same with ano din po. Kindly message po, Miss Diane Rosales. Ayan, your details po. Okay, last 3 na po. Ayan, sino po kaya ang mapalad sa tatlong mananalo pa? Hello po, Miss Christine Zaira Selemin. Nandito ka po ba? Miss Christine? Calling once, twice, thrice, Mr. Vignan. Ayan. Sorry po. Ayan. Bilisan lang po natin para po makakain. Last 3. Hello po, Mr. Sherwin Mesa. Nandito po ba ikaw?
Hello po, ma'am. Dito po.
Hello po. Ayun po. So, kindly
Hello po.
message po ulit. Thank you po. Ayan. Congratulations po for winning. Ayun po. We will be sending an email din po para po makuha yung details po. Ayan. So, last 2 po tayo. Hello po, Miss Nina Marie Canonigo. Nandito po ba kayo?
Yes po.
Hello po, congratulations po.
Thank you po.
Ayan po. So, last one na po. Sino po kaya ang mapalad? na mananalo po sa ating raffle. Ayan. Hello po, Sir Wilson June Pastorin.
Yes,
Nandito po-
ma'am. Hello
Ayun.
po.
Hello po. Thank you so much po and congratulations po.
Thank you po.
Ayan po. So that concludes po ang ating raffle. So wait na lang po tayo sa mga other winners natin sa ating po mga posts sa ating mga Facebook. Ayan po. I-announce na lang din po namin kayo or i-email po namin para po makuha niyo po ang inyong prize. Ayan. So, nandito na po ang ating feedback form. Make sure to answer po the feedback form para po sa inyong e-certificate. Partner, do you still have something more to say?
Ano po, I just want to say thank you po for everyone for participating the pre-event po for the ALAB 2022. So stay tuned lang po and be excited kasi papalapit na po ang ating ALAB 2022. Thank you. Thank you po. Don't forget to answer the evaluation form po. Thank you.
All right, so I
Thank you
guess
so much.
thank you to our MCs, Jana and Angelica, of course, to MJoy and Chris, no, to the ALAB team. Ayan, sila po ay actually mga interns from Batangas State University IE department. So again, maraming salamat and hopefully we can see you all sa ating ALAB. So stay tuned kasi magpo-post tayo ng mga details in the next coming days. Maraming salamat and let's continue to be #significantly better together. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget to do your evaluation for the e-certs. Bye!
Thank
Have
you.
a good lunch. Bye!